Hello everybody, this is me, the Undead Viking. If you have watched my videos over the course of the last like 8, 9, 10 years or whatever, you know that one of my favorite things in games is a bluffing game. And this is a bluffing game. This is Barnyard Roundup. This is a game where each person is playing the role of a farmer. You're trying to collect the most animals you possibly can to then bring them to the farmer's market so you can sell them and make a lot of money or what have you. But it is like a victory point game. You'll be collecting different types of animals, like this cow here. You can see he's worth 5 points. And as you collect these, you'll create like sets of them, and then those will in turn hopefully be worth some bonus points at the end of the game. And also, if you have the most of any certain type of animal, you will also get bonus points for that as well. The game, the central mechanism of it is you're going to be putting your animals at risk by tempting other players at the table of saying that they are a certain type of animal, and they have to figure out if you're lying or telling the truth. Now, that inherently is the entire game, but why don't I show you how to play, and then we'll come back here and I'll talk more about Barnyard Roundup. Alright, cool. Alright, I've gone ahead and set up a game of Barnyard Roundup. It won't take long to explain how the game is played, but let me just show you what you're looking at right now. So this giant deck of cards here is where you'll be drawing cards to refill your hand at the end of each turn. Hand size for 2 to 4 players is 6 cards. For 5 or 6 players is 5 cards. As soon as this deck is empty, there's no cards left to draw, the game ends at that moment. There's no like final turn or anything. So as soon as this deck is gone, you're done. These cards right here are bonus cards. At the end of the game, whoever has the most chickens, goats, sheep, pig, or cow get the bonus points for those. If there's 2 people tied for the same amount of cards, then nobody gets the bonus. So like if two people had like 8 pigs, you wouldn't get +5. Neither would get 5 points extra for that. The set bonus is for each complete set you have, meaning that you have 1 chicken, 1 goat, 1 sheep, 1 pig, and 1 cow. Like those 5 cards, you get plus 10 points. So if you like had at least 2 of each animal, you get a set bonus twice. You get 2 of these cards. So just that's how it works. But like if you had, let's say you had 3 of each, but you only had 2 sheep, you'd only get 2 because you didn't have 3 sheep as well. All right. Now these tokens here in the middle are one of 2 things. Well, actually one of 3 things, I apologize. But at the beginning of the game, each person will draw tokens, and they have a chance of either getting an excuse me token, which I'll explain here in just a little bit, or a robber token, which I'll also explain here in just a little bit. Now, after each person draws a token and has that in front of them, there also, you put another token inside there that's able to be drawn, and that's the scarecrow token, which I'll also explain in just a little bit. So those tokens sit in there. You start with the 1, but any time that you get 3 crows, let me find a crow card to show you. Anytime you get 3 crows, for whatever reason, and I'll explain how you get those. Notice how they're -5 points. You get the ability to draw a token out of the middle. So just keep that in mind as well. Now, how the game is played is very simple. Each person is going to get 5 cards. Let me just go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're going to have these 5 cards, and they're going to look and see what they have. So let's see, we got 2 goats, we got a crow, we got a chicken, and we got a cow. Now we take these cards, and on your turn what you're going to do is you have to take a set. You can't take like a mismatched set. You could take these 2 goats, but you couldn't take 2 goats and a chicken. So like if you just want to take 1 card, you could take 1 chicken, 1 crow, or 1 cow. But anyway, so like you take these 2 cards, and you pick a person at the table, you put those cards in front of them, like so, like these are being put in front of us, and you'd say either what they are, like those are 2 chickens, or you'd lie and say those are 2 sheep. And the person that you put them in front of them has to decide if you're telling the truth or you are lying. Now you can't ever say those are 2 crows. That's not an option. So just keep that in mind. But so you then say, so the person says, or you say those are 2 pigs. and the person says, you know what, I believe you, those are 2 pigs. And then you turn them over, and they see that they are goats, and so then you, as the person who put them in front of them, have fooled them, and so you get these cards back, and you put those in front of you so everybody can see that you got these 2 goats. Now, if you said the same thing where you said, those are 2 pigs, and the person said, yeah, those aren't 2 pigs, I don't believe you. You then turn the cards over, you see that they are goats, and the person who calls out your bluff gets to keep those cards and turn them face up and put them in front of them. So that's the main thing. Now, the same thing on the other side is, if you tell, if you have a crow, obviously, you want to bluff them. So you can say, that's 1 cow. Well, then the person's like, why would you put 1 cow in front of me? That's worth a lot of points, but maybe it is. So they say, you know what, I believe you that that's 1 cow. Then you flip it over and, oh, you get a crow. And that's, once again, worth -5 points. That's the whole game. At the end of the turn, after you get rid of these 2 cards, whether you got to keep putting them in front of you or you had to give them away, you get to draw 2 cards off the top of the deck to replace those. So, let's say we fooled them. We put those in front of us. So we draw 2 cards. We got a chicken and we got a cow. And so now on our next turn, we got a lot of options here. We can go 2 chickens, we can go 2 cows, or we can go 1 crow. So the tokens. There are 2 different tokens. At first, I'll show you. The robber. If you play a robber token, you get to pick 1 person, and then you get to, it's kind of like Go Fish. You get to say, I need all of the cows possible out of your hand. And if you have any cows in your hand, you have to give those up and give them to the other player. You can't lie. Just keep that in mind, because why would you lie? That'd be a jerk. If you don't have, so let's say somebody said, I need all of the pigs in your hand, and you don't have any pigs. Well then, if you have any crows, you get to hand those to the other person. So, just that's like one of the bonuses of somebody trying to rob something of you that you don't have. Alright, so the excuse me token, as soon as somebody puts cards in front of somebody and they say, these are 3 pigs or whatever, you can play your excuse me token and say, yeah, excuse me, I want to be the person that's being bluffed right now. And then you can then decide whether you are going to be getting the option of saying they're bluffing or they're telling the truth at that time. Now, the last one is the scarecrow. If you draw the scarecrow, remember you draw the scarecrow whenever you get 3 crows, a multiple of 3 crows in front of you, put down in front of you. The scarecrow, what does scarecrow do? They scare crows away, and they allow you to scare up to 3 crows out of your tableau in front of you, the points that you have, and you get to distribute them to the other players as you see fit. Now, if that would cause somebody else to have 3 crows in front of them, a multiple of 3 crows, you put they get to draw a token as normal, and you have to put the scarecrow token back in there, so they have the shot to get the exact same possibility. Obviously, you'd mix up the tokens before you allow them to do it. That's the entire game. It's one of those cool games where the mechanism or the actions are very, very simple and very straightforward. So you can teach the game in about 5 minutes, but the game, the fun of the game, lies within lying straight to your friends about what you have and trying to you think I think that I think that you think kind of thing, which is something that I absolutely love in games like this. But let me talk more about that in my final thoughts, which I'll do right now. Barnyard Roundup! Yes. Alright, so there you go. That is the game. Now, as I said in the introduction, one of my favorite types of games is bluffing. And I also like negotiation. And what do bluffing and negotiation have in common? They are all about me kind of exerting my will, my thoughts, my Jedi mind powers on another person that's at the table. And, it's one of those things where whenever you have that mental aspect, that bluffing aspect, that, as I said, that I think that you think that you think that I think type of thing, where you're double guessing yourself and also the other person across the table, that the game kind of transcends itself from the mechanisms, and then it becomes all about your personal relationships with the people around you, whether they're complete strangers. You harken back to old games where the other person has flat out lied to you and they were able to get away with it, and it kind of becomes bigger than the actual game that you're playing. Now, it doesn't hurt that the artwork is really cool, that just the fact that it plays fast and quick. And there's a lot of table talk going on, a lot of interaction going on. All things that I really, really enjoy. You know, I mean, it's flat out fun. And I've said that about tons of games, but lots of games are just flat out fun. And as the great Scott Nicholson once told me, I like games that don't take a long time to get to the fun. Well, this is definitely just that. It is one of those things where you set it up, you deal out the cards, and you are good to go. And you are starting to lie to your family members and your friends and trying to trick them into getting those horrible, horrible crow cards and having those in front of them so you can, like, debilitate them. And that's, like, another thing I really like as well. If you see somebody that's, like, getting into the lead, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, okay, well, here's a bunch of crows that I'm going to put in front of you, or are they? You know, and as the game progresses, you start seeing that, like, you have certain things where, like, perfect example, like, you see somebody has, like, 6 pigs in front of them. They got a lot of pigs, and they know that, like, they're you know, they're going for, you know, this +5 points at the end of the game. And so you know, have 3 pigs, and you slide them in front of them, and you say, these are 3 pigs. And then that person has to say, well, why would he give me 3 pigs? There's no chance he'd give me 3 pigs. But maybe he's thinking that I'm thinking that there's no chance that he'd give me 3 pigs. Or maybe he's thinking that I'm thinking that I'm, oh, you know, and there's that moment of indecision that they have, which, you know, actually then in turn led to, you know, when we played this game, a very, very spirited, very, very confrontational play that all in good fun, obviously, because we're all good friends. But there you go. If you think that's a game that you're going to like, if you like the idea of bluffing the heck out of your friends, then I would strongly suggest you take a look at Barnyard Roundup and give her a try. Alright? So if you have any questions about the game, please ask away. I'll be happy to answer those to the best of my ability. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and until next time, this is me, the Undead Viking, telling you to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. Alright, bye-bye.